And so men make somewhere between 15 and 18% more when they dress in suits. So I think there's a real, we judge somebody, like you talked about, almost immediately. And so when I saw that study, I thought, well, first of all, that's interesting. You don't have to be smarter, better looking, or anything else, and you can make more money just by the way you present yourself. And so I thought, well, what about the way that you dress? Is that also the same? And there are studies that back this as well, that in fact, you can make more money as a man for dressing one way and as a woman. And women are interesting because you are not the woman.
I'm not missing. You got the lumberjack. I got 20% sitting on the table.
But what's fascinating is, I like things where you don't have to be better than anybody else. You can just use human psychology to make more money. And so if I'm a woman, I know that the way that I dress, so when I pay attention to my dress and dress professionally, whatever that means in this instance, in the study that I saw, it was like, what I would have on a blouse, a suit, something like that. Women make 2 times more than men when they dress better. Men, it actually is less important. Still more important though. If you dress professionally in a suit and you don't have all the other proof and things you have this sort of interesting thing that's like you have sort of diametric opposition. I make a lot of money, and yet I care so little about money that I dress in the right way. Yeah, exactly. And so men make somewhere between 15 and 18% more when they dress in suits. So I think there's a real argument to be made for if you're going to pay attention to the way your voice sounds, that takes some training. It doesn't take much training to change the way that you look professionally and how you dress. And the only other thing that I would talk about on sales and pitching is we tell all of our company people, the line is show, don't tell. We increasingly do not believe the things that were heard. So like think about a sales pitch that goes like this. We, for instance, sell a lot of home service companies. So these home service companies are selling a homeowner on, let's say, landscaping. And so I'm going to come and we're going to clean up your lawn, and here's what we're going to do, and this is how much it's going to charge. I'm going to charge, and this is how long it's going to take. And you can tell the client that we're an expert at this. I've been in business for 42 years. We have 1,000 reviews on Trustpilot, etc. Or you could do something that'll double your revenue, which is simply bring a phone or an iPad with you and say, can you show me and just show them the image of it. Just go, we do have 1,000 Trustpilot reviews. Right here, we can see what the last one said. Click on it, show them the Trustpilot review. You don't have to train that. And I really like my salespeople to not have to become experts, but to be enabled by what's called sales enablement and technology, just to show, because we are a visual species. And so whenever possible, if you want to increase your conversions, I tell my team, you are not allowed to close your sales without showing something. Visuals. You have to have a visual, because it's just a trust transfer and a signal.
What's wild now is that in that same business, you can just right there in ChatGPT, say do the landscape gardening, and then show them this is your house.
Exactly.
The landscape. People are 70% of the brain is visual process.
Exactly. And you get them to believe it, and then you've already seen it happen.
I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I get them to create a brochure, like a physical brochure for their business. And people are like, what on earth am I creating a brochure for in 2025? That's because the act of creating a brochure gets what's in your head out of your head into a document we can all explore. And I still think a brochure is actually one of the coolest things that an entrepreneur can do as an activity to really just solidify what they do.
That's what you're scripting again, Daniel. Oh, I have lots of things. But yeah, I was thinking about like makeup versus suits and whatnot. And so, one is like if you have zero status, you have no credit, like SBCL we went through, then it's like, well, then what are the smallest versions of that you can demonstrate? And so I also bet that if girls did makeup, like cover makeup, and then you also do like professional makeup, I bet you there's a very different outcome that happens, because if you have like understated business makeup, then that probably signals a certain level of status, and they will treat you like other people that they've treated in the past, because that associates with the status that people have. Same thing with a man in a suit, like literally fancy pants, right? It's like this guy's got fancy pants, therefore he must be 15, 18% better on average. Now, to comment on Cody's point earlier, it's like I have other status-inducing points that are superior to a suit, and so I don't need one. Yeah. Right? So like, how do I get away with that? It's like, yeah, like having a suit only means that you have 5 year knowledge.
Billionaires don't wear top, because in the status game, that thing, that'd be an inverse signal.
Yeah, well, exactly. So yeah, we were trying, and then to Cody's point about proof is always number one, right? And so like, Trustpilot reviews is a kind of proof. Somebody down the street is a closer approximation, which is a higher form of proof. And so proof is always going to be number one, which you can lead with. You can almost immediately in any sales process, if they don't have one of these, just implement a video sales letter and increase sales by 20, 40% without really doing anything else, sometimes more. And so that typically is like, okay, what's the promise that we're gonna, what do we do? What's the pain that we're solving? What is the plan, or sorry, what is the proof that we have that we can solve it? And then what is the plan for the rest of this video? And then typically after you demonstrate each of those P's, you then say great picture number 5, which then gives you kind of the visual roadmap. And then after that, I typically like to have people just respond to all of the biggest objections that people have around whatever the specific service is, as the main points of the video. And then after that, you just make a call to action, or you just reinforce the appointment and say, hey, like if you like this video, text me this keyword, that way I know you watched it, and we'll give you an extra 5% on whatever. And that way the salesperson knows the person watched it, it gives them incentive to do so. So it's like, if you watched the video 5%, it's like, oh shit, that's amazing. But then that way they know that they actually watched it.
The one other thing that I found that is the most powerful sales closer is to pitch the assessment. And pitch the assessment is, I don't know if I can help you, but if we answer these 40 questions and we go through this assessment, then we'll figure out whether we can help you or not. So it's kind of like if you went to the doctor and said, I don't know whether you need anything, but we'll put you through a blood test and an x-ray, and then we'll see. So one of the biggest ways, I've scaled multiple companies where you pitch the assessment. You don't tell people whether you can or can't help them. You just simply say the next step is to take an assessment, and when we do the assessment, it will tell us whether I can help you or not. And it's one of the best sales closing techniques.
There's no psychology around it. They did a study where they had the boring focus group, and they had one group of people who were allowed straight into the boring community group, and then they had the other group of people who had to take a survey to get in. And the group of people that took the survey to get into the boring community group all said that it was great in there.
So much better.
And there's something about how friction upon entry makes you value the thing more.
A zillion %. Like I can't emphasize this more. Like in every single CRO test that we increase friction or increase the quality of leads, we're making money.
CRO split test.
So